would give me money so that I could repay my debt to her. The man asked me whether I would like to go someplace to enjoy myself, who would give me money so that I could repay my debt to her.
Vietnamese are, by tradition, very, very respectful of their families, for instance, you see. But by the time those people who get their money the quick way, if it happens that they were scolded by their parents about it, they bypass it very easily. You see. They thought that perhaps it is the opportunity of their life.
The man asked me whether I would like to go someplace to enjoy myself.
Others denounced corruption or sought to discredit the 1971 presidential election. Anxious to give South Vietnam a democratic image, American officials searched for an anti-communist contender to run against Thieu. Others denounced corruption or sought to discredit the 1971 presidential election. The army fought on.
We were more concerned with survival on the battlefield than with the social and political developments taking place behind our backs. The political turmoil didn't have a direct impact at the front, but it did affect our fighting morale a little bit.
Anxious to give South Vietnam a democratic image, American officials searched for an anti-communist contender to run against Thieu. But Thieu stifled domestic opposition. To Thieu, like his predecessors, the election was a means to control the population and placate the Americans. But Thieu stifled domestic opposition.
I don't think it's a very democratic way of an election. But, well, I don't deal with politics, and I think politics is a dirty word because you are playing with human lives.
I never exploited the blood and the life of soldiers for my political seat. I don't like to exchange the blood and the life of my soldier against the votes for the next election.
I don't think he's a good man in any sense, but I will support him anytime if I have the communists in hands. If I have to think about supporting Thieu or the communists, I will vote for Thieu anytime.
Thieu's regime had disqualified opposition candidates. Now his police supervised the election ritual. To Thieu, like his predecessors, the election was a means to control the population and placate the Americans. This time, they massed tanks and heavy artillery in an all-out offensive. The swift enemy advance left little time for retreat. This time, they massed tanks and heavy artillery in an all-out offensive.
Oh, I remember it was a Good Friday, so when the North Vietnamese crossed the DMZ and invaded the country, and thereby provoking a complete debacle of one division that we had stationed there. And the news that came to Saigon, were not 100% accurate. We couldn't even, get raise the general on the telephone. We didn't even know where he was. It was so pathetic that nobody knew what it was. Even the chairman of Joint Chief of Staff couldn't even follow on the map where would be this battalion, that regiment. It was one of the darkest hours of our history. We were completely bewildered. We couldn't see how come a whole division of Marine and a whole division of Army backed with armor and artillery, boom, just like that.
The swift enemy advance left little time for retreat. People near the battle zone struggled desperately to get away. South Vietnamese troops and their families who traveled with them battled for aircraft space. South Vietnamese troops and their families who traveled with them battled for aircraft space. On July 1st, a combat cameraman with a southern unit caught a rare glimpse of enemy troops on the move. The South Vietnamese took cover and called for reinforcements. They prepared to fight as the Americans had trained them, making lavish use of air mobility and firepower.